A very warm welcome to everyone joining us today for the 7th webinar of ReXtro 2025, the Silver Jubilee Tech Showcase of Faculty of Engineering, University of Pune. In a world where digital screen replaces handshakes and where identities are built one figure at a time, authenticity has become our most powerful asset. Today's session, building authentic personal brands in the digital world, invite us to explore how we can stay real, stay human, and stay connected in the age driven by algorithm and online impressions. This webinar isn't just about the personal branding, it's about the purposeful connection, discovery, how empathy, trust, and genuine communication can shape not only how others see us, but who we truly are in the digital landscape. As a part of ReXtro 2025, this discussion reminds us that innovation isn't not only about technology, it's about the people behind it. Their stories, values, and voices that make the digital world more human. I am Yukti Dara, the second-year undergraduate from Faculty of Engineering, University of Pune, and I'm delighted to guide you through this meaningful session. So let's begin the journey of the reflection, reinvention. So we learn to build brands that are not just seen, but felt, and identities that remain true both online and beyond. Every meaningful change begins with authenticity, being true to who we are and what we stand for. Today, we are honored to welcome a visionary who has dedicated his life to inspiring the very truth. Our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Engineer Ranil Sugathadasa, is a renowned motivation mindset master expert, leadership trainer, and transformational coach with over 20 years of experience and global reach of more than 500,000 professionals. He continues to guide people toward purposeful, authentic, and impactful living. He is the founder of the Motivation Private Limited and senior lecturer at University of Moratuer, passionate with bridging engineering, leadership, and human transformation. Sir, it's an honor to welcome you. The stage is yours.
Right. Thank you. I think you can hear me. Thank you very much for inviting me for this important session on authentic brand building, right? So, I think I congratulate everyone in the Faculty of Engineering, University of Rohuna, because I think you have established your brand in the society, Sri Lanka as well as globally. Actually, last week I did a program to an Australian engineering company, and apparently the CEO is an electrical engineer from your first batch, University of Rohuna, Faculty of Engineering, right? I was, very happy to, note it. And he came from your first batch, actually speaking. So that's the power of your brand. And some of your engineers are now working as CEOs even in countries like Australia, right? I think if you can come to the chat box, can you just type "I love Ruhuna Engineering Faculty"? Just type it. I love my engineering faculty at Ruhuna University. Just type it if you can come to chat box, right? I think that gives us a very good starting point. If you can come, I don't know whether you can come, right? If you can come, just type "I love Ruhuna Engineering Faculty" or something like that. So that just I think you can inspire yourself. So today we are very good. I can see a lot of loves coming, right? That's amazing. That's amazing. I want you to engage with this session, and you have to love your engineering faculty, Faculty of Engineering, University of Gaul, Rohuna. That is, in other words, Gaul Engineering Faculty. That's amazing to see your feedback, and you have to love your faculty, right? And I can remember that when during 2003, I think somewhere around 22 years back, I came to your faculty to motivate your undergraduates. I think even the first batch was there. I was working as a senior manager for Holcim Lanka, It's a leading cement company, and I came to your faculty, and I think I did a couple of programs continuously from my end to motivate you all, right? So that's great. So what is the power of authentic brand building? Why we have to build a brand, right? Simply, it is, I mean, it is your price in simple terms. When you pass out from University of Arhuna, there can be price for civil engineers, electrical and electronics engineers, computer science engineers, mechanical engineers. There's a price. That price is more or less same price, mostly, except in exceptional situation. But after 2 years, one civil engineer may go for a job in the private sector for, say, 500,000, whereas the same civil engineer from the same batch may still struggle with a salary of 100,000. So in the private sector, locally and globally, your price will be decided by your name. In other words, the brand you created digitally as well as non-digitally, both. And digitally is very powerful these days because there is LinkedIn, there is Facebook, there is Instagram. There are a lot of digital media where people get to know you from digitally more than any other method, actually speaking, especially LinkedIn. So if you want a salary of, say, 500,000 in Sri Lanka in next 3 years or 4 years, you have to build your brand in such a way that you will be paid 500,000. It never happens in the government sector companies. Don't expect that in the government sector because it's the same salaries. But I'm talking about the private sector. So when you develop a brand as an engineer, as a leader, based on your brand, your income, your salary or income will be decided, right? So that's why you have to build an authentic brand. Boru brand hadala wadak naha. You have to build an authentic brand. You have to be you. You have to be you. You have to talk truth. At the same time, you have to do it consistently to influence the marketplace. And so you will generate a brand image or name, and you will attract opportunities as an engineer entrepreneur, as an engineer businessman, or as an engineer manager. So your brand is important. It should be authentic. ඔයා විදිහටම brand වෙන්න ඕන. Don't try to be somebody else. You have to be you, right? Please type in the chat box. I have to be me. I have to be me. That's what we call authenticity. I have to be me. Just type it on the chat box. I have to be me, right? Very good. So, Bob, right? You have to be you. Don't try to be somebody else. You have to be authentic you, right? You have to be authentic you. Don't try to be somebody else, right? You have to be you. And that authentic you need to be properly positioned in the marketplace. For example, say if you are an electrical engineer and if you specialize energy or sustainability or renewable energy, you have to position as renewable energy engineer. If you're a civil engineer who wants to be a project management specialist, then you have to be project management specialist, right? That's a very, 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 very important. So you have to understand as to what type of engineer you are going to be positioned as. That's very, 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 very important. That's very, very important, my dear friends, right? And based on that, your income will be decided, the contribution that you can do to the world will be decided, and then you get the respect and the honor, actually speaking. So you have to be you. And then don't try to be fake person. You have to be you. While you try to be yourself, you have to be careful about sometimes some of your weaknesses also. For example, say, uh, as an engineer, if you try to put some posts in the Facebook or social medias, which are very sensitive to general public, say too much of political posts, for example, in that case, you are going to be highlighted, belongs to a certain political arena, unless you do politics, actually speaking. In that case, your chances as an engineer to attract opportunities will be diminished. So you got to be very careful, because ඔයා කඩේ යන්න ඕනේ ඔයාට මිස අහල පහල අයට නෙමෙයි. ඔයා කඩේ යන්න ඕනේ ඔයාට. ඔයා කඩේ යන්න ඕනේ ඔයාගේ බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එක හදන්න. Right? අනිත් අයගේ බ්‍රෑන්ඩ්ස් හදන්න නෙමෙයි. So you should not share sensitive things which diminishes your brand value. Got my point? As an engineer or engineering leader or engineer entrepreneur or engineer businessman, right? And so you have to be careful when you post things. Even though you should be authentic, sometimes some of your personal things, like your political affiliations, should not be too much revealed on social media or digital platforms unless you want to do politics. මං කියන දේ තේරෙන කට්ටිය yes එකක් දාන්න. තේරෙන්නේ නැති කට්ටිය no එකක් දාන්න. If you can understand what I say, please type yes in the chat box or no in the chat box. You have the freedom to put no as well, right? Because I talk with experience, because one of my friend who created a wonderful brand as an engineer entrepreneur, he started posting some political affiliated post supporting one of the politician. And what happens is, my dear friends, he was earning about, say, 30 million per month. I mean, net profit, 3 crores per month in Sri Lanka. And when he started sharing political posts, his earning reduced to about less than 1 million. Right? Less than 1 million. This is the bitter truth. He created a brand and he destroyed his brand to create somebody else's brand. If you can understand what I say seriously, please type in the chat box, I understand. Please type in the chat box, I understand. So, you have to be authentic. But just because you're authentic, don't try to put everything on digital platforms, right? Don't try to put everything on digital platforms. The language you use is very important. Now, when it comes to your CV, they go for your, when it comes to recruitment of you as an engineer or engineering manager or any other manager or a leader, or if you want to get some business from your clients, they come to your LinkedIn profile, Facebook profiles, and check who are you. So you got to be authentic. And it doesn't mean that you can't be having a picture of you with your poor father and mother, right? So if you can't put a picture of your father and mother on Facebook, and if you don't do it because they are not posh enough, ඔයාගේ අම්මයි තාත්තගේ ඔයාගේ ෆොටෝ එකක් Facebook එකේ දාන්නේ අම්මයි තාත්තයි posh මදි. So you think you are winner. No, you are not a winner. When it comes to recruitment, most of these companies will come and check the photos you put, whether you have put the family photo. And if you don't put a family photo, they may think that you are too cunning and you are trying to pretend and you are not authentic. Right? So you can talk about your village. You can talk about your father and mother who are not posh. You can put a picture of them. That is your authenticity. For example, I went to a school where there was no uniform. I went to Hidurangal Vidyalaya in between Haliyugad and Kiriyalla for my primary education. And my school never had a uniform. It doesn't mean that my my parents couldn't afford a uniform. They were able to afford a very good uniform to me, but my school never had a uniform. But when I do speeches, when I talk, meet CEOs, I refer my school. I say I went to a school where there was no uniform. I said, because my father was a principal, I wore slippers, all my friends came barefoot. So it is my authenticity. I talk about my authenticity, right? It adds value. It adds value. හැබැයි ඔයාගේ අම්මයි තාත්තා එක්ක ෆොටෝ එකක් දාන්න නැත්නම් Facebook එකේ මිනිස්සු හිතනවා ඔයා ටිකක් කෘතඥ පූරක නැති කපටි මිනිස්සෙක් කියලා. Authenticity කියන්නේ ඔයාගේ ඇත්ත දාන්න. But don't reveal sensitive information, especially politics and so forth. I hope you understand what I say. And when I recruit people, when I recommend recruiting people to my department at Moroto University, we go to Facebooks of potential lecturers and check whether they have put their parents' photos and so forth on Facebook. If they have not, it means they don't have gratitude. We should not recruit them, right? So you have to be authentic. You can proudly talk about your poor village. You can proudly talk about your start. You can proudly talk about your school. And that is authenticity. Don't try to be fake, right? If you are getting 100% of what I'm talking about, please type 100% on the chat box. Please type 100% of the chat box. Very good. Very good. And on the other hand, when it comes to professional network like LinkedIn, you have to use proper languages. Don't use family photos or something like that. It should be always professional. To put post on LinkedIn, my dear friends, you can't just put post without doing anything. So as university undergraduate engineers or budding engineers, you have to do projects. So you should do projects and you should take photographs, videos, and you should talk about them on LinkedIn in very attractive way. To do that, you got to do projects. You have to do projects. Even sometimes your final year research, final year design can be a LinkedIn post. And you can create maybe many number of LinkedIn posts out of that. Even when you go to training, when you do something great, you can talk about it on LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn is a very powerful digital platform for professionals. And when you post something, it will be accessed by many professionals, millions of professionals all over the world. And engineering is a global profession. And then you can easily get, I mean, if you talk about very niche area of engineering, your final year design or maybe your research, you can actually market it very well. You can not only market your project, but also you can market you, your faculty, your department, and University of Rohana. So that's very important. So LinkedIn is a very, very powerful thing. And even when you put videos on LinkedIn, you have to be authentic. Don't try to just කටපාඩම් කරලා කියවන්න එපා. Be authentic you. And in my case, I learned English from a dictionary published in 1899. 1899 publish කරපු dictionary එකෙන් තමයි මම ඉංග්‍රීසි ඉගෙන ගත්තේ. I got a distinction from my O-level using such a very old dictionary. I mean, that is our context those days. So my English is not perfect. I am not pronunciation every word rightly. Sometimes for me, P and F, confuses with each other. Sometimes to the places where I should put P, I put F. And for the places where I had to put F, I put P. And this is me. This is me. Some of the things I try to correct, but some of the things it's very difficult to correct now. But I don't worry about it. Even the beggars in England, and then they talk posh English. But in my case, I make mistakes in speaking in English. Sometimes I make many pronunciation mistakes, but still, as long as I can communicate my message to you, I mean, that is enough because my parents are Sinhalese, like you are Sinhalese or Tamils or Muslims. But it doesn't mean that you should not improve your English. You should try in your best. But there's a limit that you can push yourself, isn't it? And I put videos and then I got coaching pro. I'm a CEO coach now. I started as a civil engineer, passing out from Marotta University. Then I worked in Singapore as a civil engineer for tour cooperation for one of the very important project of then Singaporean Prime Minister Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. Then I came back to Colombo and became a senior manager into engineering and market and product development for Holcim Lanka. Then I did few projects called Holcim Web Sales, uh, a couple of projects such as tsunami reconstruction of 650 houses and health and safety projects, a lot of strategic projects for Holcim Lanka and Holcim Global. So when I did all these things, my brand enhanced. So you can't just post fake things without doing work, my dear friends. So you have to do something solid. You have to prove results. You have to deliver results. When you deliver results, you can post them on LinkedIn, social medias to create your authentic brand. And you have to do it continuously also. To do it continuously, you have to deliver results continuously. That එක දිගට results produce කරන්න නැත්නම් එකම දේ කතා කරන්න බෑනේ. මිතුරුනි, මේ digital world එකේ talk දීලා වැඩක් නැහැ. Right? වැඩ පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා. ඕන මෝඩෙකුට පුළුවන් talk දෙන්න. හැබැයි වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන්, වැඩ පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන් දක්ෂයට විතරයි. So try to be a clever person, clever engineer like that. So to do that, my dear friends, budding engineers, young engineers, you have to do at least small projects. It can be not only engineering, it can be some social project. It can be some joining some clubs and doing some social work. It can be sports. It can be a bit of innovation. It can be some entrepreneurship or startup things. Try to do as many as things and try to put them on a right digital platform with proper communication to position yourself as not only just an engineer, but also as a leader and what you want to become. So you have to market yourself based on what you want to become. Originally, I used to be a civil engineer. Then I wanted to move into management that, I marketed myself, my management talent, and I became a senior manager, become a senior engineer. Later, while working for a multinational, I got my chartered engineer qualification because I knew that that's going to be very important to me. So I did my design with a mentor and I became a chartered engineer. Before those engineers who passed out from my batch, who went to building department, road development authority, I got my charter. They were working for a low salary to get a charter. I was working for a very high salary in a multinational. Still, I got my charter before them. Then I became a chartered engineer. Then I started doing my MBA and I used my chartered engineer and MBA to become senior engineer at Marotta University, senior lecturer at Marotta University, and to start my companies. Then I got my PhD and all that, the qualifications such as project management professional and so forth. And before that, I did CIMA and CIM and a little bit of law as well to position myself in the industry. So I actually did a lot of hard work to get different qualification, different exposure to position me as in the industry, not only as an engineer, but also as a manager and a leader. And so sometimes qualification also matter, but qualification alone won't help you. You should be able to deliver solid results. You have to join clubs, you have to do sports, you have to do extracurricular, you have to do something, singing songs, maybe dancing, anything. I mean, YouTubing, anything. You should do and position yourself, my dear friends. For an engineer, there are different career paths. You can pass out as an engineer, you can choose engineering line, and you can become an expert engineer, chartered engineer. Then you can become expert engineer in the world, and there are still lots of opportunities in the world for expert engineers, right? The salaries are thumping, huge salaries in Western countries, North America, Middle East, Australia. When you become an expert engineer, I mean, you can earn a huge salary. That's one line. The second line is you can pass out as an engineer, work as an engineer for a while, and then you can choose management career and you can become manager, senior manager, deputy general manager, vice president, then CEO, director, managing director, chairman, and so forth. That's the second line. You can become a CEO in an engineering company or non-engineering company like bank or any other companies. There are enough examples. There are civil engineers who has passed out from Moroto or any other universities, now working as CEOs of some of the MBS companies, right? There are computer engineers who pass out from Moroto, Rohuna and Peradini, now who's working as CEOs in banks and so forth. So you can switch your career from engineering, you can do engineering a little bit, and you can switch your career to a different path. Or else you can pass out as an engineer and then you can take the path of academic path, MSc, PhD. You can become a senior lecturer, professor, or a scientist actually. Or else you can pass out as an engineer and you can become engineering entrepreneur or businessman, engineering businessman, and you can try to become a billionaire and you can try to bring a lot of dollars to our country, generate employment and so forth. Or you can pass out as an engineer. You can forget all engineering, all entrepreneurship, and you can go to entire new area. It can be music, it can be art, it can be dancing, it can be YouTubing, it can be anything. And you can be master of that and you can become world class and you can create a brand. So as an engineer, not like a medical doctor, they have only one, specifically one path. But engineers, you can choose different path. You can choose the path of expert engineer. You can choose the path of engineer, manager, senior manager, CEO. You can choose the path of engineer, engineer entrepreneur, billionaire. You can choose the path of engineer, businessman, billionaire. You can choose the path of engineer, MSc, PhD, senior lecturer, professor, scientist. You can choose the path of completely new area. In my case, I started as an engineer, worked as an engineer. Then I became a chartered engineer. While becoming chartered engineer, I became a senior manager as well. Then I started my own thing and became an entrepreneur and became a senior lecturer. And now and then I became a motivational trainer, coach, and now I'm a CEO coach and author actually speaking. Now my current job is actually I'm working with CEOs all over the world, including Sri Lanka, and I'm basically coaching billionaires, right? Very high top end entrepreneurs, business people. But I still use my engineer title, my engineer recognition to approach them and solve their complex problem using my engineering brain. So in my case, actually, I'm a mix of everything, kind of a fruit salad, but I do enjoy it because I use my brain to not only solve complex civil engineering problems, but also solve business problems, problems with society, and problems with entrepreneurs, and so forth and so forth. And that's why I actually wrote a couple of books. I wrote a book called CEO Mastery. I call and published on Amazon. I wrote a book called Engineer to Leader. Again, it's a book to actually bring engineers to give engineers management and leadership insights, again published on Amazon. I wrote a book on project communication management. It's about project management. I wrote a book on stakeholder management, again published on Amazon. And I wrote another book on business environment in project management, again published on Amazon. Because why I published those on Amazon is because then I wanted to actually create some international brand. And as a result of that, I'm getting coaching programs from all over the world, from CEO level, actually speaking, not just engineer level, CEO level, where 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 I have developed an international brand. And this November end, I'm going to Australia to coach a couple of CEOs and businesses for 3 weeks because I have created my brand. And that's the power of brand, actually speaking. So to create a brand, you have to be authentic. You have to be authentic. And you should consistently put your post in the digital forums. But to put post, you have to deliver results. බොරු දාන්න බෑනේ. ඇත්තට දාන්න වෙන්නේ. මොන හරි result කරන්න මොන හරි කරන්න ඕන. And you have to do pioneer project and talk about it. You can do your design project and talk about it. You can do your other tutorials and talk about it. You can go do something that in your training period and talk about it. And you can do extracurricular and talk about it. So you have to do something to do things, my dear friends. නිකම්ම ඔක දාන්න බෑ. So that's how a brand can be developed, right? So brand එකක් එක බොරුවක් develop කළ හරියන්නේ නැහැ. You should be able to deliver results. බොරු කයි දීලා වැඩක් නැහැ. You should be able to actually deliver results, and you should be able to talk about what you did, right? What you did. When you start talking about what you did, your true brand will be developed, right? Your true brand will be developed. And to do that, මහා ලොකු දේවල් කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. You need not to do very big things. You can do small things and you can talk about them very nicely. The impact of those small things to the society, and as to how, as engineers, we can actually basically help the society and so forth. So consistency is very important. Sometimes you just put a post, a couple of posts within 1 week, and then you entirely forget about it. Then your visibility will go away. You have to put everything consistently basis. That's very important. And then only your brand becomes consistent and you become an influencer. Sometimes you may ask me now, why? Why we put all them in the digital media? We can do things silently. No, no. When you do things silently, people do not know that engineers are working. You have to show general public that engineers can do something great and we are doing something great. And in fact, then you inspire others. For example, when I do a motivational training, actually these days, I'm not putting many posts because I get a lot of work and there's no time for me to do put. But when I put a post, say when I put a post on Facebook or LinkedIn, others inspire. Other engineers inspire to become motivators, right? Other people are inspired to get motivators to motivate their teams. So when you put a good post, positive post that will make impact, the society inspires. You inspire the society. Like a local pinak, right? You inspire the society, right? That's very important. එහෙම කියලා දැන් සමහර අය කොහේ හරි 5 star hotel එකකට ගියාම ඒ කෑම එක දානවා Facebook එකේ. ඒක KFC ගියාම ඒ කෑම එක දානවා Facebook. ඒව ඒ තරම්ම ගුණදායක නෑ. ඒව මෝඩ වැඩ පොඩ්ඩක්. අතරින් පතරින් දැම්මම කමක් නෑ. පිටරටක වගේ ගිහිල්ලා කෑවොත්. එහෙම දානවට වඩා you try to create some sort of professional and personal brand. And social medias like Facebook, you can put your personal things as well so that you can show that you're a balanced person, right? You need not to put all the time, all the time professional things. Also, you can balance it. But when it comes to LinkedIn, try to put as much as professional things because it will give a real leverage. And then in LinkedIn, if you really want to be engineer entrepreneur, you can put the title in LinkedIn, student engineer, emerging entrepreneur, or emerging billionaire, right? Right. So you can position now itself, you can position in LinkedIn, even though you are still not an engineer, you can say you are a student engineer at Rohana University, and you are an emerging entrepreneur. So if you want to highlight your entrepreneurial area, you can even highlight it, whether it's AI or sustainability or renewable energy or construction or anything actually. That's very important. That's very important. So this is what I had to say. So I'm repeating. So to put things in the digital forum, you have to do something, right? Do something now. If you haven't done anything, maybe you can even bring some dreams and some ideas also to LinkedIn and digital forums. But these things must go in line with your aspiration. For example, if you want to become engineer entrepreneur, try to position you as engineer entrepreneur throughout, right? If you want to be an expert engineer into one specific segment, say sustainable energy systems, or maybe construction engineering, or maybe hydraulics, or maybe computer science and AI or something, then put posts in line with that, right? So that people will not confuse. So you become a sought after person for that niche area actually. So if your batch is having 100 students, so 100 must be having 100 different targets, not just one target, right? And don't, so try to be yourself. Don't try to be too much somebody else. Of course, you can copy others. For example, you can copy anybody. That's okay. But while copying others, you try to be yourself. Even in my case, I copied my CEO when I was at Halls in Lanka because my CEO was just 30. He's a civil engineer again from Switzerland, Peter Sprigg. And I wanted to be a CEO. That I copied him. I copied his behavior. I copied his thinking. I copied his even dress. He was wearing short-sleeved white shirts and blue shirt. I used to wear short sleeves, white shirt and blue shirts to copy him. And because I copied him, I became world's best project manager during 2005. So sometimes copying a great personalities not a bad idea. But still, you can copy others. You can copy talented people. You can copy the right habits. You can copy the skills. You can copy the mindset. You can copy the thinking. You can copy right things. But while copying from others, you should try to be your authentic person. Got my point? If you understand what I'm talking about, just put 100% on the chat box. Just put 100% on the chat box. Very good. Super. Now, I would like to listen to you. Now, you may have questions. Okay. You may have questions. You may have doubts. You may have arguments. So put them on chat so that I can answer. So there is a question. Could you please share key insights you have identified through interaction with millennia around the world, specifically regarding the principles and practices they employed, sustain long-term motivation, and cultivate a fulfilling, happy life? Very good. I have to be upfront here. When it comes to many billionaires, when I deeply dive into their lives, I realize that 50% of them are not happy and fulfilled. This is the reality. So my task was to help them to be happy. That's what I was coaching about, right? So what happens was where, this is something like this. When you don't have a vehicle, you like to buy a motorbike. You buy a motorbike, then ඒක මදි වෙනවා, you buy a Maruti. Then you are happy. Then ඒක මදි වෙනවා, you buy a Alto. ඒක මදි වෙනවා, you buy a Wagoner. You happy? ඒක මදි වෙනවා, you buy a Prius. You are happy now. ඒක මදි වෙනවා, you buy a BYD. Now you are very happy. ඒක මදි වෙනවා, you buy a you buy a Montero. Now you are very happy. ඒක මදි වෙනවා. Now you buy a Mercedes Benz. Now you're very happy. ඒක මදි වෙනවා. Now you buy, say, Mercedes Benz S-Class Jeep, right? You are now very happy. ඒක මදි වෙනවා. Now you buy a Rolls Royce. You are now happy. ඒක මදි වෙනවා. Now you buy a jet, personal jet, right? ඒක මදි වෙනවා. Now there's nothing to buy. So you get a submarine and wanted to check what's happening in the, bottom of Mariana, right? And then it might be your last trip. So most of the billionaires, I think, they are also struggling, right? Locally as well as overseas. They are also struggling. And that's where a coach like me has potential to help them. And at the same time, there are very fulfilled billionaires as well. Say 20%, right? And then they are mastered both life and career. And sometimes they have the challenges with their next generation because they are not very sure about their next generation, sons and daughters. So they are suffering. They very difficultly build a billionaire business now. Their sons and daughters are very play, not very focused and serious, that fathers and mothers are suffering. So I have to involve and help them. I think I have given you a part of the answer. How they keep the motivation? I think most of them keep the motivation through discipline, habit system, CU habits. Most of these billionaires have habits. Those habits made them billionaires. So when you practice billionaire habits or CEO habits, in my book, CEO Mastery, I talk about 7 CEO masteries. Self-mastery. Self-mastery, you have to master yourself. Mindset mastery. Strategic mastery. Decision-making mastery. Execution mastery. People mastery. Innovation and artificial intelligence mastery. So when you master all these 7 masteries, based on those masteries, you can create a habitual system And that's how billionaires and top-notch CEOs are made of. Not motivation. They have habit, they have system, they have habits, right? And that gives the consistency and persistency. And in fact, they hire the best brains. And they get CEO coaches, mentors, even though they are very bright, very rich, they still listen to us. They get our points. They have very superb teams around them to support them. And that's how they get the knowledge, the right mindset. That's how they make right decision making. So they are humble in a way. In a way, they are very egoistic. In a way, they are very humble. They are very humble in front of talented people to get the best out of them. They are very egoistic in front of general public because they don't care general public, right? They don't care general public. Don't care general public, but they are very humble in front of talented people because they want to get best out of the talented people. So I think how they keep the motivation is they have bigger vision, a vision like, helping Sri Lanka to become a developed country, right? Bring in at least $1 billion to Sri Lanka, bigger vision beyond their personal visions, right? Or send in uh, 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 something to, Mars, that's Elon Musk, right? Bigger vision, right? Or making this planet Earth a beautiful place to live, right? They have bigger vision because they have big, very, very big visions. They get energy out of the vision itself, actually speaking, but at the same time, they have personal visions and dreams. And they get the fuel from this personal vision, mission, and a bigger vision, actually speaking. Especially when they have very big vision. I think when it comes to Sri Lankan entrepreneurs, they have not gone global, truly speaking. Many of them, except a few of them, very small way. Why? Because they have very small vision. So I mean, when it comes to some Indian, American, European CEOs, why they go global is because they have very big vision when it comes to Bill Gates, the Salesforce, simplifying computer software to help everyone to use a computer. Very big vision. And that very big vision brought him a billionaire level, actually. In our case, our entrepreneurs are not having such a huge visions, but I think I'm happy to see the young generation is going to have. So it's a vision, bigger vision, consistency, persistency, see your mindset, see your masteries that I was talking about, and systems they create around them, make them such a great people, right? So motivation, it's like having a bath. When you have a bath today, you have to have a bath tomorrow as well. So motivation is like that. So motivation is useful when somebody is down, but I think while motivation is useful, I think more than that, persistency, consistency, having a system, keeping brilliant minds around you, having a bigger vision, bigger goals, having a right plan, right set of people are more important. I hope I answered your question. If you feel asking many more questions, please do so. Did I answer your question, my dear friend? Did I answer your question, or do you want me to further clarify it? Could you please share with what habits or practices during your undergraduate years helped you achieve success while maintaining a happy and positive outlook? Actually speaking, I schooled when I failed my FI scholarship, I was put into a Haligoda Central College. That's why I passed my O levels and A levels. I think we had 11 classes on all levels, but I think I was able to, most of the times, became number one in the entire grade, one or two, at least two, one or two, entire grade out of 11 classes. So even during my A levels, I think I was the only guy who got selected to engineering on the first attempt from my class. So I thought I was a, මම හිතුවා මම හෙන පොරක් කියලා. මම හිතා හිටියේ එහෙමයි. මම හිතා හිටියේ මම හෙන පොරක් කියලා. So I came to Moroto University and I realized that I was nobody. And I was actually a below average student. In my first year examination, I had 424 engineering one, 420 student. I think I was, from my first year result, my rank was around 400, right? My rank was around 400. I was below average in my first year. But fortunately, I got the chance to do civil engineering because any other engineering field is not matching to me. It was only civil engineering for that is matching to me. I got the chance to do civil engineering for somehow. I had very difficult subject like engineering drawings, surveying. I don't know how I passed them. But in the second year, I was below average student, even among civil engineering student. And we had 100 student. I think I was around, my rank was around 90. Third year, I think I improved a little bit. I came to 50. Finally, I think I was further improved and I got, I think, almost A passes for all the subjects, except for one subject, but I ended up having second lower. Uh, I didn't do any extracurricular activities, to be honest with you. Those days, we had little extracurricular activities. There are one club, I think it was rock track club, but I didn't attend to that as well. I didn't do any sports. So I didn't do any sport. I didn't do any extracurricular. I was not a bachelor or something like that. I was below average student in the engineering faculty for 3 years at least. But even when it comes to work, I just very difficulty manage subjects, especially first year, second year, and third year, even though finally I got very good result. But I didn't have much dream also, but I wanted to be, I wanted to be a good person. And so I passed out. Then I took a risk and went to Singapore to do a job. And then I started thinking differently, actually. I think that is my turning point. And I joined Holcim and I start thinking differently. And then I became who I am. So I was actually one of the below average student, to be honest. And but when it comes to industry things, I think I got the best salaries, pass out salaries in the industry. Uh, uh, Out of all engineering, including electronics, computer, and all, I think I I think differently. I thought differently, and that may be the reason. But later, I mean, my batch has 7 senior lecturers and professors, and I was the one having lowest marks from my batch, but still I became a senior lecturer. I got, and I mean, and it didn't. It was not a problem, actually speaking. So uh, and I think as I said, I wrote 5 books on Amazon, and then I think no one in my batch have done something like that. And I coached over 1.2 million people all over the world. I helped 1,000 plus organizations, and I coached over 500 CEOs and billionaires in the country and the world. And when it comes to engineering, I actually introduced a special cement called Holcim Extra Durable, durable cement to Sri Lanka. Even though I didn't have the patent for that, I helped the company on that. So I think I read books, different books. I think I think differently. It can be the reason, but I think all my batchmates are very successful by today, various ways. Various ways. Some batchmates are great construction engineers, some are great contractors, some are very rich people, some are CEOs, some are very good, run very good technology companies, some are great electrical engineers, some are great entrepreneurs, some are great professors. So I think we with the time, I think everyone become very successful. And those who join government, they also contribute the country in various ways and help in our country to at least run in this way. I hope I answered your question. Any questions? You can ask any questions. You can ask difficult question where I can't answer. Yeah, just quick question. Just like engineers, doctors, teachers tend to develop similar ways of thinking based on their professions, do billionaires also share common thinking patterns or habits? If so, what are some of those common traits of minds you have noticed among them? Yes, actually, yes. Billionaires have different thinking patterns. They have growth mindset. They don't see problems, they see solutions. Even within a problem, they see solutions and money. When there is a huge problem, they see solution and how to make money out of it. And they don't not only think about money, they think how to solve it for the betterment of the society. So billionaires have same mindset. That's we call billionaire mindset, right? And when it comes to your results, 80% is mindset. So as an engineer, you are trained on engineer mindset. What is engineer mindset? Engineer mindset is precision and accuracy. If you keep engineer mindset throughout your life, you can't be a billionaire. You can't be an entrepreneur. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you should use your engineer mindset. While using your engineer mindset on precision and accuracy, you have to bring growth mindset. That's how engineer entrepreneur is developed. That's how Elon Musk has come out. That's how Bill Gates have come out, right? So very rich people, successful people, they have growth mindset. But in the engineering faculty, you are taught precision mindset, engineer mindset, and problem solving mindset. Of course, in the engineering faculty, you learn problem solving mindset. That's important to become a successful person. But alone having such problem solving mindset is not enough. You have to have the growth mindset with that and money mindset with that to generate money out of it. I think you are clear with me. So those who are very successful, they have billionaire mindset, they have money mindset, they have growth mindset. And of course, most of them are engineers. Most of them are engineers. Because when it comes to engineers, he can easily become very successful because he has analytical thinking, precision thinking, and accurate mindset. But when he top up that with growth mindset, money mindset, he can become very successful entrepreneur. Okay. So think about we are going to make our own business without doing job. I have not experience in the starting point. I'll get a risk and trying to develop own business. What are you thinking of my decision? Yeah, doing business is not easy. Because it's you have to do a lot of hard work at the start. At the start, doing a job is easy. But if you start trying to be an entrepreneur or businessman at the young age, probably you do a lot of trial and error. You fail again, you fail again. But if you have the persistence, you can win one day. But some people may not have the persistence. And as a result of that, they will give up everything. So sometimes it's good to get some experience and come to entrepreneurship, right? Sometimes, suppose some of you, if you have a lot of guts, you can directly start business. It depends on the person. I can't exactly say what is right for you and something like that. But becoming an entrepreneur, businessman is not very easy. Especially becoming an entrepreneur is not very easy. It's a hard journey. But once you reach a certain point, um, it's very easy. I met a electrical engineer passing out from Monash University. We were in the same forum at Gap headquarters with Professor Disanayake, and he came to the session with in a Lamborghini, right? I can still remember it's a green color Lamborghini, right? So I went to that place from my Mercedes Benz, and he came from Lamborghini, right? So at the beginning it's difficult. Everything is difficult, no, but at a point when you keep the persistence, you can win one day. But nothing is easy. You have to try harder, my dear friends. It's harder than doing engineering degree. You have to put 1,000 times hard work and smart work both together. And at a point, you can be relaxed, right? And uh, do you think engineers join with management trainees just after graduation is better without working as a yeah, sometimes if you want to be a CEO, sometimes you can join a very good organization like Unilever as a management trainee, get a very good exposure into supply chain, engineering management, project management, marketing, sales, and it can be a great path also. It depends on your it depends on your dream. In my case, I work as an engineer and then join a company as a manager directly. So when you join as a management trainee, you have to spend 2 years there and become a manager. So it's your choice. It all depends on what you like, what your strengths, what your weaknesses, and so forth. I can't give you a hard and fast answer. But I would say, I mean, that's also not very good path, actually speaking. It depends on the person. Right? There are engineers who pass out as a engineer, then join as a management trainee, then become manager, CEO, and so forth. But it's a different challenge. They don't have engineering experience, but they use that engineering thinking to get the things done. And depends on the person, actually speaking. Depends on the currently available jobs. So if you don't have much engineering jobs, probably you can join as a management trainee and go in. That's also another path. Uh, yeah, but in my case, I became a chartered engineer while I became a senior manager. While I'll try to become an entrepreneur, I'm still not a very established entrepreneur. I run a artificial intelligence company. I want to go with AI wave, actually speaking, even though my origin is civil engineering. So I actually do work with AI backend engineers. And if you are interested, we can work together. And then I can, because I've met a lot of CEOs, I help them to bring AI solutions. So I run AI company as well, right? Despite I'm a civil engineer by profession. So what is one piece of advice that you can give to someone who have an idea to become an entrepreneur after following an engineering degree? I think don't wait until you pass out. Start now. I mean, if you have an idea, don't keep the idea. Start it with a little money and try to see whether that idea is viable. Because sometimes your idea may not be viable. So do a pilot project, pilot product, and try to see whether it's viable. And if it's not viable, improve it. Improve it. Don't keep the idea. If you keep the idea, you will not do anything. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to come out with a great idea to solve complex problem in the society at a profit. And come out with the idea to solve the problems in the society at a profit. And do a pilot and try to see whether that idea is viable. And if it's viable, go ahead. Find an investor and go ahead. If it's not viable, improve it. Further improve it until it becomes viable. So if you want to become an entrepreneur, start now. But becoming a businessman is different to becoming an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is giving a creative, innovative solution to problems of society. Businessman is buying and selling. Probably try to become a businessman, you can make some millions easily, right? But it's not as sustainable at entrepreneurship. And sometimes you can go in the middle, little bit of entrepreneurship, little bit of business. That's again, yeah, you do buying and selling, but you add value and you are going to be unique in the marketplace where you can sell it at a better price. That's another option. How can women in STEM break down barriers and change the world despite societal expectation and biases? I think when it comes to engineering, I think there is no, I think whether it's women or men, I think we have equal chances, right? And I think women brings a new perspective. I think they can multitask. Men can only do one thing at a time. But think about your mom. She can she can prepare the dal curry, පරිප්පෝද්ද හැඳි ගාන ගමන් news බලන්නත් පුළුවන්. She can watch news while හැඳි ගාන ගමන් පරිප්පෝද්ද. And she can teach mathematics for your younger brother. And at the same time, she can advise. At the same time, she can advise you on relationship. And at the same time, she can plan tomorrow. At the same time, she can blast your father. පරිපෝද්ද හදි ගාන ගමන් පොලි නිවුස් බලනවා මල්ලිට ගන්නත් උගන්නනවා ඔයාට රිලේෂන්ෂිප් සම්බන්ධ ඇඩ්වයිස් උත් දෙනවා එයාගේ හෙට දවස ප්ලෑන් කරනවා ඒ ASE තාත්තට බණිනවා that's your mother. So women engineers can do multitasking. Men engineers can't, and they bring a different perspective. We want both male engineers and female engineers to balance it out. And so I think as women engineers, you have better chances to position in the society to solve problems in more empathic way. You have better heart brains to understand society's problems than men sometimes. So I think engineering teams must be complete with this mix of men and women, possibly 50-50, or at least some sort of reasonable balance to give a better solution to society's problems. So I think women engineers have better equal chances as men engineers, right? So go ahead, my friends. Any questions? I can't hear you.
So there are one more questions.
Yeah.
How can we measure whether our personal branding effort are actually working? That's a question,
Yeah,
sir.
you can measure it from the feedback. Right. When you try to brand yourself on LinkedIn, for example, when you put a post, what sort of feedback you are going to get. And for example, now when I go out, I can get feedback from general public in the society. Sergey, video එක මම දැක්කා. හරි හොඳයි. ඒක මම share කළා. So likewise, you can measure feedback. You should be able to analyze the feedback. The feedback දෙන්නේ කවුද? Who is giving the feedback? The feedback දෙන්නේ වාගේම room එකේ ඉන්න set එක නම් ඒක මදි. You have to get feedback from the industry, senior engineers, CEOs, managers. So you have to develop your personal brand in such a way that you get comments, feedback, likes from next level people. Sometimes they know you, still they don't put a like or something. එහෙමත් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So don't worry. Do it consistently. Maybe about 5-6 years. Don't worry that you didn't get a feedback or something like that. But do it consistently because it takes little time actually speaking, for you to position yourself as a unique person. So one of the methods is feedback. But even though there is no feedback, go ahead. Do it for 5 years, you will get the real this thing. So don't worry too much about measurement at the beginning. We can't still hear you.
Next question is, thank you, sir. Next question is, Dr. Rani, sir. These days, it's really hard to see someone's true side behind the impression they give. Do you have any personal ways or tricks to understand a person's real character? I find it really hard to identify people sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Very
correct,
difficult
sir.
to find people, but very difficult to understand people. I'm almost now 50 years old, even though I think like 18 plus, right? I think younger than most of you, right? So even at the age of 50, it's very difficult to understand people. So to understand people, you have to listen to their words, their tone, their facial expressions carefully. You have to listen not only from ears, your eyes and heart and brain. You should be able to understand the curves here, how the curves are going to change when they express. So I'm also trying to do it. It's very difficult to understand people at the first attempt. That you have to improve your people mastery, that I was talking about 7 masteries. And then you have to read books on that. You have to understand, you have to reflect what happened. So it's a journey. It's not easy. It's tough. It's one of the toughest things, tougher than engineering. Understanding people is tougher than understanding engineering. Clear?
Thank you, sir. The next question is, will civil engineering field recover in Sri Lanka?
Sorry?
Will civil engineering field recover in Sri Lanka?
I didn't get it.
Will civil engineering field recover in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, civil engineering is actually global profession, and it will definitely recover in Sri Lanka when it comes to economic development. Currently, we don't have economy, no. There is no economic development. So when the economy rises, the first field to rise is civil engineering. I don't know when it's going to rise, but when the economy rises, the first field to rise is civil engineering. But still, globally, you have ample opportunities. Globally, you have ample opportunities. World is more and more problems, and most of these problems can be solved by civil engineers and other engineers, of course. So as civil engineer, don't confine yourself only to civil engineering. Think outside the box. Learn AI, learn a little bit of AI, and try to mix technology with civil engineering and try to become a bit of an innovative person. Not just civil engineering. Don't just wait civil engineer to recover. Don't just wait construction to recover. You have to recover yourself through skills development. You have to upskill yourself not only with civil engineering, but also with AI, technology, and maybe some of you can branch out to other engineering branches, and some of you can go abroad and do civil engineering. Some of you can go to AI, IT. Don't worry, right? Just because you did civil engineering, you need not to be always in the civil engineering field. But definitely it will rise. I don't know when. It rise when the economy start developing. At the moment, economy is not growing. Even though economies, when the economy is truly growing, construction will grow immediately. And with that, civil engineering will flourishes. Don't wait until that. Do something until that. Don't wait until that. But I think now I think there is reasonable construction upgrade. I think it will recover.
Thank you,
Prashnath,
sir.
which is better
The
entrepreneur
last
or
question
businessman?
is, okay.
I don't know. It's up to you. Some people like to be businessmen and become billionaires. Becoming an entrepreneur can make you a more respectable person, even world-class billionaire. But it is a bit of a easy path for some people, difficult path for some people based on your characteristics, your strengths actually. Some people are good to become entrepreneurs. Some engineers are good to become entrepreneurs. Some engineers are good to become businessmen. Some engineers are good to become engineers. Some engineers are good to become CEOs. Some engineers are good to become professors and scientists. So it's yours. It depends on your DNA actually. Clear? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so there is another question. In the age of the AI generated content, how can we keep our voice authentic?
Yeah, you have to use AI. You have to use AI, and you have to put the right prompt. You have to be authentic in your prompt. When you put authentic prompt, AI will give you authentic voice. Got my point? Right. So when you prompt, you have to prompt it very creatively, authentically, to get a unique, authentic output. Got it? So please use AI. I mean, you can't stop using it, but use authentic prompt, out of the box prompt, critical prompt, unique prompt that nobody uses. Got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I think questions is over, sir. So,
Wonderful. So I wish you all the very best, my dear friends. I think you all are going to be amazing set of engineers. Be proud being an engineer. एक ओनोडा proud කරගන්න එපා. Right? Use your engineering brain to either do engineering or non-engineering, but build a brand, build a name, and enjoy your life.
thank you, Dr. Ranil Sugathadasa, for that truly inspiring and thought-provoking session. You have reminded us that authenticity is not a strategy, it's a way of being. Your words have shown how staying genuine, purposeful, and value-driven can transform not only our personal brands, but our lives and communities. Your insight remind us that a digital world full of noise, being real is what makes us truly stand out. Thank you again, Dr. Sir, for leading us through such an inspiring, transformative session. Your insights into the authenticity, leadership, and personal growth have reminded us that in the digital world, our greatest strength lies in the being true to ourselves. A heartfelt thank you as well to everyone who are joining us today. Your curiosity, reflection, and engagement made this session truly meaningful. Together, let's carry this inspiring forward to build brands that are genuine, connections that are real, and digital world that reflect who we truly are. As we conclude today's inspiring journey, let us remember the digital world becomes meaningful only when it reflects our authentic selves. To connect with others, we must first connect with who we are, with our values, purpose, and voice. True personal branding is not about the perfection, it's about the presence. It's about the showing up with honesty, empathy, and intention in everything we do, both online and beyond. To everyone who joined us today, thank you for your curiosity, your reflection, and your wonderful engagement. You have helped make this session not just a webinar, but a shared moment of the learning inspiration. May today's insights inspire you to live with authenticity, lead with a purpose, and create digital spaces and uplift connect. Until we meet again, stay genuine, stay inspired, and keep building a world where technology reflects the best of our humanity. Thank you.
Thank you.